I don't know that we can say it ahead of the fight. But is there ways that this fight could play out that would then lead us to believe that Islam's the GOAT? Maybe. If Islam was to go out there and dominate, think of what he did with Money Moicano. It pains me, but I've even got to say Dan Hooker, he caught him in a position, he caught him early, but all the same, if he was to go out and just tie up Ian Garry and make Ian Garry surrender quickly, yeah, boy, that'd mean something. That would mean something. Be the champion of two different weight.
Islam Makhachev's manager, Ali Abdelaziz, has delivered a strong warning to Ian Garry ahead of UFC 330, making it clear that the champion intends to make Garry pay once they meet inside the Octagon. Chael Sonnen believes a completely dominant performance from Makhachev could further strengthen his claim as one of the greatest fighters in
every camp. He's just getting better, added more tools. He's in great shape, doesn't even breathe hard in sparring. And he's getting put a lot of great fighter, But he's the best I've seen him, honestly.
Wow, yeah, that's what was the best before this, if you can recall?
The last fight. He's just getting better, man, and better and better. He's just adding a lot of tools into his game, from striking, from different submissions, from just wrestling, just mixing it up differently. He's just a puzzle. Is even the guys in the training session is really hard to figure out.
History. At the same time, Israel Adesanya has pointed to a dangerous part of Makhachev's game that he believes could become a major factor in the matchup. Ali Abdelaziz has made it clear that Team Makhachev is taking Ian Garry seriously, despite all the attention surrounding the challenger. Abdelaziz views Garry as more of a competitor than a
Islam.
I actually do. I actually do think he has a very good chance at beating Islam. I remember watching. So what Islam does really, obviously does a bunch of things incredibly well. I slander him at any chance I get, but truly appreciate every ounce of technique he does. And one of his most beautiful takedowns is a single leg where a guy digs an underhook and he turns it into a clubbing takedown. And now Shovkat tried that exact move on Ian Garry, and Ian Garry countered it and ended up on Shovkat's back. So I think an open space takedown, Islam's go-to. Ian Garry does have a very good answer to.
Fighter who regularly looks for finishes. He believes that once Makhachev gets close and begins applying his pressure, Garry could find himself trapped in a style of fight that is extremely difficult to escape. Ali Abdelaziz later repeated his warning to Ian Garry, saying that all the talking will end as soon as the Octagon door closes. He explained that while Garry is a talented fighter, he does not believe I
don't know, man. Whatever the future holds, but the number one focus is skinny twig. Is Ian Garry. This is our main focus, This guy talk a lot, and we have to focus on him, because every opponent we fight, or Islam fight, or anyone fight, we have them take him seriously, even if they're not a serious guy. I don't think he's a serious man, but he's a competitor. I don't think he's a fighter. He's a competitor. It's complete different. He's a guy like point karate, like to touch and move, touch and move, touch and move. You're almost training for him. You really have to be a track star to catch him. I'm not saying he's a bad fighter. I think he's a good fighter. He's an average fighter, and he's just hard to figure out because he runs a lot.
However, Irishman is on Islam Makhachev's level. In Abdelaziz's view, Makhachev will constantly pressure Garry, wear him down, and expose the difference between the two fighters. He expects Fight Night to make it clear why he considers Islam one of the UFC's most dominant champions. Abdelaziz also stressed that Team Makhachev has respect for Ian Garry.
Tie Islam shoes. He cannot even shine his shoes. The guy have 11 fights in the UFC, 9 finishes. 9 decisions. Islam is 10 last 11 fight, 9 finishes or 8 finishes. Islam finishes people. Islam bounce people head off the wall. Islam submit people. He's gonna do what Islam want him to do in the fight. Islam is gonna hunt him like a deer, who's a hunter, who's a 50 caliber machine gun, and after that he's gonna put a bullet in his head, and he's gonna put.
But that respect will not affect what happens once the fight begins. He remains confident that Islam's elite technique, constant pressure, and championship experience will reveal a major difference between the two fighters when they finally compete. Turning to Islam's training, Ali Abdelaziz revealed that the champion has continued reaching new
have the capabilities to get rid of Ian fast. I don't know that Ian has the capabilities to get rid of Islam fast. I do not believe, contrary to popular belief, contrary to my partners over at DraftKings who believe if Ian Garry is going to win, he's more likely to win by knockout than anything else, I don't agree. I believe he needs to win 3 rounds. I believe he can spot Islam too. And I believe we got to go to the cards. I think that is Gary's most likely way to win. But let's stay on Islam.
levels during camp. According to Abdelaziz, Makhachev is working on every part of his game and continuing to improve the weapons already in his arsenal. He praised Islam's dedication and work ethic, saying that every training camp seems to produce an even more complete and dangerous version of the champion. In his view, the Islam
versus JDM, I was very impressed with Islam's feinting. There was one point, because I always say sometimes I overfeint, but that's good because they never know when it's coming. But Islam did that in his last fight with JDM. There was points he just was feinting like 12 times before he even threw a jab. This is later in the fight as well, so I was really impressed.
Makhachev preparing for UFC 330 is stronger, more intelligent, and better prepared than ever. Chael Sonnen believes that if Islam Makhachev completely dominates Ian Garry, the performance would rank among the most impressive accomplishments in the history of the sport. Sonnen points out that Garry has already established himself as an elite fighter by competing successfully against high-level opposition. He also praised Gary's
for GOAT over Ian Garry. Now, is it possible with a certain performance, the dominance that Islam showed over Jack? First off, Jack is awesome. But secondly, the story going into that fight, no matter how false the narrative that will never go away is this guy too small? Can Islam deal with bigger guys? Now, I love to be the one that tells you, if you weigh 155 pounds and another guy weighs 170 pounds, you weigh the same thing. That's the same thing. But the narrative never goes away. And the fact that Islam could throw him down and beat him up. You guys ever heard that expression? I'm sure you've seen this 100 times on the school bus or the playground or something where some smaller guy says something to the bigger guy. And then somebody's like, oh, come on, of course the bigger guy, you just take him down and sit on him.
Youth and the amount of potential he still has. Because of that, Sonnen believes that completely dominating such a talented opponent would take Makhachev's legacy to another level. A clear victory in that situation would be much more than simply another successful title defense. It would send a major message throughout the MMA world. Chael Sonnen also believes Islam Makhachev has already answered the questions from people who doubted whether he could handle natural.
He's doing it himself. But, he's there, he's a number. And Islam on August 15 will take the number. And after that, he go back to the kitchen. This is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But, we respect him very much. We think he's talented. We're training really, really hard for him. Like, he is the greatest fighter on the planet. And like I said, this game is unforgiving. Anything can happen. Mm-hmm. Somebody can throw a head kick, catch you, knock you out. A punch, knock you out. Can catch you and broke your arm. Something will happen. But if you match skill to skill, brother, it's not even on Islam's level. Honestly, my opinion.
Bigger welterweights. By controlling and overpowering a larger opponent on the ground, Makhachev demonstrated that his wrestling can take away an opponent's size and strength advantage. Sonnen believes that performance removed one of the biggest doubts surrounding Islam and further showed why he remains one of the most dangerous fighters in the UFC.
Send Ian Garry back to the kitchen washing dishes. This was going to happen. This is what he liked to do. We're going to send him do house tours. He talked a lot. And he talked about me. I'm the manager, dude. Like, nobody cares about me. But when you talk about me, I'm going to talk back about you. I don't think he's on Islam level. I think he's a great runner. I think he just avoid not to be finished. and I truly believe Islam Makhachev is going to finish him. He cannot tie Islam's shoes. He cannot even shine his shoes. You know, he's the guy have what, 11 fights in the UFC, 9 finishes, 9 decisions. Islam is 10, last 11 fight, 9 finishes or 8 finishes. You know, Islam finishes people. Islam bounce people head off the wall. Islam submit people.
However, Sonnen believes Makhachev has the ability to finish Ian Garry early. At the same time, he does not expect Garry to knock out the champion, despite the predictions coming from some fans. Instead, Sonnen believes Garry's most realistic route to victory would be to survive all 5 rounds, collect enough